How to protect your children from your divorce. Keep your children from becoming collateral damage. During and right after your divorce, it's easy to get wrapped up in your own emotional and financial concerns. Although you have a lot on your plate, do not let your children become collateral damage. Your children should be your most pressing concern. They are your most important responsibility, and you have to put them first. So here are 7 rules you need to follow to help your children survive the divorce without lasting harm. Rule number 1, shelter your children from conflict. Don't draw your children into the divorce by fighting around them. Even if you fight in a separate room behind closed doors, your children will know you're fighting. Studies have concluded that conflict between parents during and after divorce leads to significant and lasting problems for the children. For instance, they suffer with lower academic achievement, more behavior problems, more negative self-image, and more social difficulties. As adults, they tend to have more behavioral problems, less education, lower job status, and lower standard of living. They are also more likely to never marry, more likely not to have children, and have a higher risk for divorce themselves. Rule number 2, keep your children out of the divorce. Don't draw your children into your divorce and never expect them to fill the role of friend, confidant, or spy. Treating your children like your best buddy only confuses them and removes you as the authority figure. Confiding in your children dumps emotional issues on them that they are simply not mature enough to deal with. Pumping children for information about your spouse makes the kids feel as though they have betrayed their other parent. You are the parent and they are the children. The line between parent and child should remain crystal clear. Do not let the roles change. Your children are not your friends. They are not your confidants. It is not their job to give you emotional support and validation. Build a shell around them and keep them protected from the divorce as much as you can. Never use your children as pawns to extract more favorable settlement terms from your spouse. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people use their kids as pawn to get at the other spouse, and the results are disastrous for the kids, so don't do it. Rule number 3, reassure your children that you love them and they'll be cared for. Your children must be told this repeatedly. Tell your children that both of their parents love them very much. Make it a mantra, we love you and you'll be taken care of. You can also reassure your children by providing them with age-appropriate information. For example, you and your spouse should tell your children that you are divorcing, but don't share the reasons with them. Tell them that you and their dad or mom are going to be living apart and that they're going to have 2 houses instead of 1. Answer their questions honestly if you can. Their questions will normally center around their immediate needs, like if they'll still be able to go to their friend's birthday party or participate in a school activity. Other questions may not have answers right now. If you don't know, say so, and then repeat your mantra, we love you and you'll be taken care of no matter what happens. Rule number 4, do not denigrate the other parent. Don't tell your children the other parent is lazy, worthless, or a cheater. As tempting as it may be, it's not your job to enlighten your children about the other parent's character flaws. Don't say or do anything to degrade your children's other parent in their eyes. Your children have an enduring bond with the other parent. This bond shouldn't be broken under any circumstances. Any attempt you make to damage or alter the bond will only hurt your kids. Ultimately, you'll damage your own relationship with the children. Bear in mind that children who have both parents actively involved in their lives do better than children who do not. So for the sake of your children, you need to encourage a relationship between them and their other parent, even if your spouse has not behaved as you would have wished. There's something else you have to consider. What will happen to your children if you die or become unable to care for them? The children will most likely end up with your spouse. If a safe haven hasn't been prepared for them there, and if a solid relationship doesn't exist between them and their other parent, your children could very well be damaged for years. Rule 5. Maintain structure and a sense of normalcy. Reassure your kids by maintaining structure. Stick with the children's normal routines. Regular scheduling of homework, meals, and bedtimes will do far more to supply reassurance than simple words. Rule number 6, be a positive role model. Present a strong positive face to your children. If you collapse into the stresses of divorce and allow your children to witness it, they'll also collapse. If you go to pieces or let anger overwhelm you, they'll go right along with you. Do your grieving in private after your children are asleep or when they're not with you. If you behave as a confident leader in spite of the internal turmoil, the children will be reassured and join you in facing the changes. A positive mental attitude and a structured, secure atmosphere will help your children survive the divorce without lasting damage. Rule number 7, monitor your children closely. You must also monitor your children's development very closely during the divorce process. The conflict will normally delay their development and may even cause some regression. For example, children who have been successfully potty trained may have significant increases in the number of accidents. Children normally recover from these delays or regressions as their situation becomes more stable and predictable. However, severe regression or destructive behavior needs immediate attention, such as counseling. Violent behavior directed at siblings or other children should be addressed immediately. Talk to your children's teachers and caregivers. Let them know what's going on and ask them to tell you what kind of problems the children may be having. It's kind of like taking the children's temperature. You'll be able to tell how they are doing by how they are functioning at their jobs of growing up. How to tell your children about the divorce. If you haven't yet told your children about the divorce, you may be wondering what's the best way to broach the topic. Parents sometimes delay telling their children because they think they are protecting them. However, children often know that something's going on and feel more stress because of the uncertainty than if they would if they knew the truth. As a general rule, both parents should talk to the children together. The children should be told at the same time whenever possible. You and your spouse should agree in advance on how, when, and where to tell your kids and what to say if they ask why. If you can't agree, a therapist could be helpful in resolving your dispute. Before you sit down to talk to your kids, be sure that you are in control of your own emotions. You must behave in a mature fashion and not reveal any anger, disappointment, fear, frustration, hurt, or blame. So don't talk to your children until you can be in control. Watch your body language and tone of voice in addition to what you say. Offer clear, honest explanations. Avoid elaborate details of your marital problems, such as affairs or sexual problems or money problems. Stress to your children that they are not responsible for the divorce, but that this is an issue between the adults. Emphasize that the divorce is not their fault, but make it clear to them that they can do nothing to change your decision. Focus on what will happen to each child. Describe basic changes such as new living arrangements and time with the other parent. Give your children a time frame for the expected changes if you can. Assure your children that you'll tell them all the major developments and changes. Invite your children to express their concerns and offer suggestions. Reassure your children that divorce will not change their love either of you feels for them, and give them permission to love you both. I'm Rick Banks. If you're watching this anywhere besides on my blog at whenyourdivorce.com, head on over there for a lot more information and free resources to help you with your divorce and shape your best possible future. That's whenyourdivorce.com. If this video was helpful to you, please click the thumbs up button below. Also, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you'll get all of my latest videos with more free divorce information. Finally, be sure to download the free gift mentioned below. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.